Hey, it's Juck, and last week was an amazing week for the historic-looking class of 2025 as we got commitments from TJ Alford and London Merritt. London's commitment was a big surprise. While we thought he was loving Ohio State and he was considered to be a lean, we didn't expect that announcement when it came. And we all got to watch TJ Alford in a much-anticipated announcement that's been scheduled for over a month. And he picked the good guys. The next day, we got a commitment from a wide receiver out of DePaul Catholic in New Jersey named Dez Jones. An absolutely electric wide receiver that Brian Hartline really loves and intends to use as an ace slot receiver. Dez was a lean to Penn State, but he had come to practice over the weekend in Columbus, talked a whole lot to the people that were there, some of the celebrity guests, the Buckeye NFL alums, watched J.J. Smith dominating on the field as a freshman, and he ended up committing. A massive surprise and a big get for the Buckeyes. But it was even more stunning the following day when we got a commitment from a safety that's his teammate from DePaul Catholic, and his name is DeShawn Stewart. I was really curious about this story because I can't ever remember having two guys from the same school in the same class that's not in Ohio. I don't think it's ever happened. If it has, let me know. I went back quite a ways and looked. DeShawn Stewart is a 190-pound, 6'2" corner. He spends his practice guarding one of the best wide receivers in the country, and he's honed his skills quite nicely. But Jim Knowles has identified him as a safety. And Jim Knowles, the safety guru, knows what he's looking for. So I certainly wanted to talk to these guys, and I had DeShawn scheduled to talk today. And 5 minutes before DeShawn and I were about to go on, he texted me and said, hey, Dez wants to come on too. Is that cool? Absolutely. So here we go. Dez Jones, DeShawn Stewart. And we'll start with Dez because, Dez, you committed first, and it really shocked everybody. Just out of the blue, I know you were at practice over the weekend. Tell us about how practice went.
They were real competitive. They was flowing real fast. I like how the meeting was like real well organized. It was. I like to see how the freshmen got to get in the field real early. See how I would be when I get there.
Yeah. You saw JJ balling out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome. Did you get to meet any of the other guys in the class of 2025 that made you think like, yeah, I fit in well here?
We haven't had long conversations because they was moving quick and I was a little behind schedule when I was there. So, but I got to meet a lot of them. I met like alumni like Jackson Smith or Jigba, stuff like that. Yeah,
that's great. Now, DeShawn, you were the second to commit. Dez committed, and then you came on board. How much did Dez committing have to do with your commitment?
A real big portion of it. If you didn't know, it was like the week prior to when he went to the practice. I came back. I was like, yo, I might commit. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't make it public because I wasn't sure about it. But then he told me that like the day before he went, he was like, yo, if I tell you get to edit me, like make that call. Like, I want you there. So when I seen that he wanted to commit, I'm like, all right, so I'm gonna do it the next day. Cause like it checked all the boxes when I went there. So I'm like, it's a great place to be. And when I seen my child friend go there, I'm like, I gotta go.
Okay.
Now I think that's a really interesting story. How long have you guys known each other?
It's all lies.
It's like 5 years old, probably.
Yeah.
And how long have you been playing football together?
Since 5
years old. Since then.
Okay. So you guys grew up playing football together. You chose to go to DePaul Catholic, which is a powerhouse in New Jersey. What made you guys decide to go to DePaul?
We trusted the coaches. It seemed like a good place to be. It wasn't like too much going on. We had a bond with coaches since like before we got there. So it just seemed like the right place to be.
Yeah, and it wasn't far at all.
Yeah, it wasn't far. It wasn't too far. Like other places that we looked to, it was like far. It would have been transportation issues.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been too much.
DeShawn, you are a cornerback, right? But you're being recruited as a safety. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Well, you certainly hit like a safety. Are you feeling comfortable like you want to play safety in college? That's the right fit for you?
Yeah, I feel comfortable with it. I definitely do.
Okay. You're listed at 6'2", 190. You look to me like you got a frame that could be about a comfortable 210. And it looks to me like I said, you're very comfortable making big hits. And it seems like when you make those big hits, you pop up and really enjoy that a lot. Is that part of your game that as a cornerback really makes you stand out?
Oh yeah, that's definitely part of my game. It was just me getting comfortable, just playing at my varsity level. Because my sophomore year, I'll make plays and just not get up and celebrate. They told me like, Sean, loosen up a little bit. So my junior year, every time I made a play, it was a celebration right after. So that's just me like playing with energy, showing my passion and love for the game.
Yeah, you certainly show it, buddy. You certainly do. Dez, your polish as a high school wide receiver really jumps off the page. Your route running is exceptional, and what really stands out on your film is your catching ability, the way you can maneuver your body, running at full speed. I saw you in a couple of them, just totally turning around with the ball in the air, running at max speed. It's just exceptional. Have you always played receiver?
Yeah, I play a little bit of tight end like old days, but I've been playing receiver for a really long time, so like I got used to it.
Do you have tell me about your coaches? Do you have a personal receiver coach? I mean, the way you just look so polished. You look like you've been doing this forever with a very high level coach.
Yeah, I started at a really early age by going to the field, like practicing receiver work. My dad used to take me to the field. My receiver coach now is Coach She. He actually is our defensive coordinator at DePaul, but like he familiar with every position, so I go to train with him to receiver.
When you guys play ones versus ones, good on goods at practice, do you guard him, DeShawn?
Hey, no doubt. No doubt.
I bet those are some epic battles, huh?
Oh yeah,
For sure.
we definitely have some clips.
DeShawn, who was your first offer? What school offered you first?
It was Pitt.
Pitt?
Yeah.
Right off the rip with a big offer. How about you, Des?
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. Wow.
Yeah.
You guys got some big offers right off the rip.
Okay.
So I was under the impression, and this was what was out on the recruiting sites, that you were both Penn State leans. Is that correct?
Definitely.
Yep.
Is.
Yeah. Okay. So how did your relationship go from Penn State leans to Ohio State commits in such a seemingly short amount of time? DeShawn, when did you get your offer? Was that in January from Ohio State?
Yeah.
Tell us about
January.
that offer.
Just when I got it, Coach Day, Coach Warren, and Coach Hartline came up to the school. It was like a big thing for me. I'm like, oh, this like the top of the top up at the school just to see me and Dez at the school. So I'm like, all right. So they take us to like a little meeting about recruiting and like a whole slideshow. Then at the end, they like, we're gonna offer you. So just hearing that from Ohio State, it was really big for me. Because that's top of the top program right there. So then it was the night before. I think I got on the phone, Coach Gary. He told me, he's like, I'm gonna be the most in contact coach with you out of the whole country, and he kept his word. We'll talk every day about anything, everything, and no other coach did that. So I just felt way more comfortable just playing with him.
So you're telling us that Matt Guerrieri, now this is important because we don't know him that well yet. You're telling us that he kept in touch with you more than any other coach in the entire country.
Yep.
That's great to hear. That's great to hear. It sounds like he's going to be a great recruiter, and that's important. He certainly seems like a guy who knows his stuff. I'll say that right off the rip. And he's been working with Jim Knowles forever. Now, Jim Knowles, he's a safety guy. He specializes in safeties. And if he wants you, like that says all we need to know. You're going to be a beast safety. Dez, who was your primary recruiter? Was Brian Hartline, right? Tell me about Brian Hartline, getting to know him. I mean, he's pretty much legendary around the country. All the fan bases hate him, particularly the ones in Florida. But we got one out of New Jersey now. And you got to talk to Brian. You get to talk to him a lot. What do you think of Brian Hartline?
I think about him. He seemed definitely a trustworthy guy. He obviously produced the best talent throughout the years. He proved that already. He's a smooth guy, you know what I'm saying? He knows exactly what he's doing with receivers. And I feel like he could develop me the best way possible and what I need to be in the future. So I think I think me and him would create a good bond, and we'll be good.
Have you talked about how he intends on using you at Ohio State?
Mostly slot.
Okay. I think you're going to be an excellent slot receiver. But you guys won the state championship in 2022 at DePaul. Last year, did you face the same team in the championship game 2 years in a row?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. They got you back last year. They won. Now, you're heading into your senior year. What's the outlook for the team this year?
So we want to go undefeated. We want to go undefeated when it's state chip, go out strong, and not like, because our last year we had way too much talent to have the record that we had, and it's just like we don't want to like have that happen again. So we're not going to let that happen.
Nice. Dez, you play the one of the toughest schedules in the state of New Jersey. You guys play all the top dogs. How do you think that helps prepare you for your college career?
I feel like the games is gonna like prepare me, but like I feel like I really need to focus more on practice habits for college. Like going against, I feel like Sean is the best DB that I go against, so going against him in practice every day is gonna get me more better, because like I need to get more focused on like my college practice habits. I'm not really focused on like I need to do more like after practice, before practice.
Mm-hmm.
Like how every practice I went to for college, like I'm taking notes on what they doing so I can bring it to my game now. So it won't be like a big jump for me when I get there. So I feel like that would be bigger for me just in practice.
You make a really good point, and it's kind of something we talk about a lot with the guys at Ohio State. They're going in practice against the best of the best in the country, and you're doing that at practice, going against Sean every day.
All right.
So that's an interesting point. Sean, what's it like when you are sitting at school? What's the school day like when Ryan Day, the coach of the Ohio State Buckeyes, comes into school to see you? What's everybody acting like? Like, is it just total pandemonium? Like, that's got to be wild.
Not yet. The day he came, we had like early dismissal, or I think it was after midterms. So it was students in the school, and they seeing Ryan. They walked through the hallway. They're like, "Oh, that's Ryan Day." And then they like, "Who you here for?" I was like, bro, me and Dad." They're like, "Oh, y'all tough, man." I'm like, "Yeah, bro." Like, it definitely was a big feeling. I called my brother right after. He was all excited. He like, "Bro, like you doing it big, bro. Just keep going. Don't lose focus." And like it meant a lot to me.
Do you guys know Ronnie Hickman that came from your program?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
So Ronnie Hickman, for those watching that don't know, Ronnie Hickman, Buckeye, and now plays for the Browns, went to their high school, as did Kareem Walker. You guys, I'm sure, know about Kareem Walker. Do you know the story of Kareem Walker committing during the national championship game?
Nah,
I don't think you do.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So Kareem Walker went to your high school. He was the number one running back in the country. Ohio State was recruiting him hard. So was everybody. He was number one. And during the national championship game, Ohio State and Oregon were playing. Ohio State starts thumping Oregon. And of course, we're ecstatic. And during that game, Kareem Walker tweets that he's committing to Ohio State. So we got a double massive win. The Buckeyes win the national championship. The number one running back out of DePaul Catholic, Kareem Walker, commits to Ohio State. Now, he ended up going to our rival. So it didn't turn out great, but that was a fun night. And when I saw you guys were from DePaul Catholic, it brought me back to that night. So do you guys plan on taking either one of you any other additional visits?
Nope.
Nah.
No? You're set.
Nah.
Yeah.
I like it. You're locked in.
Yeah.
What does it feel like to you to be part of? I don't know how much you guys follow recruiting, but obviously, Ohio State recruits at a very high clip. This particular class that you guys are now part of, the class of 2025, is going down to potentially be historically the best class in the history of Ohio State football. I don't know if you knew that. What does it feel like to be part of that class?
Unreal, to be honest.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Different, bro. Like growing up watching football and just seeing all the greats come from Ohio State, it felt like unreal for real.
Crazy.
Yeah.
DeShawn, you told me earlier that you grew up an Ohio State fan. How does a kid from New Jersey grow up an Ohio State fan?
I really grew up an Ohio State fan from it was a game against Alabama. Watching Ezekiel Elliott tote that rock.
Yeah.
That was one game that made me like an Ohio State fan right there growing up. And just my brother was a big NCAA gamer type of person, so I would play him, you know what I'm saying? And I just like the mascot. Like the mascot stood out to me, so we played the mascot mode. I always had the Buckeyes.
Love it.
Yeah.
We got a name for that run you're talking about. It's called 85 yards through the heart of the South, DeShawn. So now you know. That's the one. That's the one that hooked you. I love it. Dez, what about you? Who was your college team growing up?
It was between Bama and Ohio State. I liked both of them, but as I got older, Bama really wasn't like that much for me no more. So Ohio State really stood out for me because, like,
do you got a an NFL team that you root for?
It was the Bills, but I don't know about that no more.
Is there a wide receiver that plays in the league that you kind of resemble yourself or kind of model your game after?
Stephon Diggs.
Really?
Yeah.
Listen, my kid just told me today that Stephon Diggs just signed with the Texans or got traded to the Texans.
That's why I ain't a Bills fan no more.
Okay, that's why. Okay. So he's going down to play with our guy, CJ Stroud. And that squad just immediately got better. And that is very exciting.
Right.
How about you, Sean? Who's your NFL squad?
I like Baltimore.
Oh!
I was not always a Baltimore fan.
I was a Baltimore fan. It was Lamar Jackson, like, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Definitely Lamar Jackson.
He's Showtime. He's Showtime for sure.
Yeah.
Must watch TV. Well, that's awesome. Well, guys, I really appreciate you letting us get to know you a little bit here in Buckeye Nation. I think you're going to be a couple of fan favorites. I really, like I said, you shocked me with your commitments back to back. I think it's an incredible story. I can't recall ever having teammates from an out-of-state school commit in the same class. So it's remarkable. I hope we can stay in touch as we go along your journey, and I really appreciate you joining us today.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye. There we have it. I can't get over how cool of a story this is, that these two went from playing Pee Wee football together to DePaul Catholic, a powerhouse football high school in New Jersey, to going to Ohio State together to play football on scholarship. It's mind-blowing. And I'd like to talk to their high school coach. How fun would that be? So awesome story. Great job, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. And guys, we got some good ones. Those are a couple of good ones right there, and good dudes too. Appreciate you guys. Everybody, hope you enjoyed it. Have a good one. Juck and Bucks out.